Hey, we're live. If you haven't noticed, this is session 4 of the Collabers group. This is not about Wally Kern. This is about us creating better videos, creating better channels. Anybody that would like to join the panel, and that doesn't mean that you have to talk a lot. That just means that you're online and we kind of converse about how to make our channels better and how to make our videos better. Jump in on the link that I just provided. I'll provide it again here. And again, if you'd like to join, that would be cool. If not, that's cool too. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff tonight, and we're going to cram it in as quick as possible. These sessions are meant for all of us, and it's certainly, like I said before, it's for all of us to improve our YouTube channels and our videos in different ways. We've talked about the content. We've talked about how to do things the right way as far as building your audience. Some of the key takeaways that we've already talked about, and I'm going to steal this from Sean Cannell, just press record. So if you're starting a new YouTube channel, if you've started and you're not really quite sure, what to do next, I realize that my fish tanks are still on. My pump is still on. I'm going to turn that off. But if you're starting out and just starting to create videos, just hit that record button. Hopefully that's a little quieter. Hit that record button. And hi, Steve, I'll be right with you. And start putting out videos. You're going to make mistakes. We all did. Don't go back and watch the Supreme Gecko channel and see some of the old videos that I've created, because they're terrible. But what I did was I would do 2 or 3. I'd go back and watch videos on how to create YouTube videos, how to make them better lighting, better sound, and you don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds. Here's one of the best cameras you can buy right there. Use your phone, and it's all about making interesting videos. We talked about start now. Don't say, okay, I'm a control freak and I like to plan everything out. You don't have to do that. Find a topic that you just love to talk about and start recording. And if you show the passion, everybody will start watching, and everybody will start giving you suggestions, and you'll start building your community. Last week, we talked about getting the click. How can you make people how can you get people to come over to your YouTube channel, your videos, and watch your videos? So if you missed it, go back to last week and check out episode or session number 3 and see some of the points that we brought up there, because there were a lot of points that we talked about. I see Steve in the background. I'm going to go ahead and bring him onto the panel. If anyone else would like to join, feel free. Hey, Steve, how are you doing?
Good. Can you hear me? Is everything well? I've never done this, and I want to make sure there's no feedback with the audio and all of that.
First time. I need a bell or something I can ring. You sound great. Actually,
Perfect.
You sound a little bit loud if you can turn down your mic a little bit, but otherwise, perfect. Oh, that's great. Audio visual looks great. And again, I tell you what, folks, this is going to be super informal. We're just here to chat and to bounce ideas against each other, to each other, from each other. And I'm going to throw this on the screen. Yes, crested geckos for life. Yes, we do. And we'll have a question and answer at the end. We're going to kind of focus these sessions around a specific topic. Today's topic is titles and descriptions, and how to use titles and descriptions to kind of build a better audience, to bring people to your videos and have them watch your videos. There's all kinds of little tricks. We've talked about so many already in sessions 2 and 3 especially, but today we're going to talk about titles and descriptions. Steve, how do you feel about your videos? And we're going to review. What's your channel, Steve? Why don't you let us know your channel first of all?
Sure. And I do want to say, as always, thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it. I love spending time with you, your crowd, and you people. I do kind of apologize as I can't see the comments right now, aside from if you put them up. My channel is Misopods and More with Me, and I want to focus on isopods, but this channel more or less started as a way for me to put a lot of the things that I see out there for people to see. I've stepped on fawns, I've seen bald eagles, I've spent hours out there, and some of these things, that's how my channel started. It started as me as just wanting to have these where I could share these moments with people that may, something as trivial as snow. I kind of laugh because I talk to people who are in the isopod hobby who live in Thailand, and they don't get to experience snow. So it started to be, my channel went from being about me and sharing what I could to now trying to find reasons to share all of the love of nature, try to make people appreciate it more, let people see things. There's so much more about my channel and what it is, and that's why specifically, and now I'll hush up in a moment, it's Misopods and More with Me. And Misopods is a play on MI being Michigan and isopods, and more is all of that I just mentioned, from woodpeckers I've been filming to just time lapses, and then me is occasionally this stuff where I'll talk about myself or share things with you, specifically my kids. I try not to push this on my kids. So they go from days when they don't want to be on camera till they can't get off of it. But I love sharing those moments with people. The moments are just key with me, and I love sharing you all sharing them with me. A lot of my live streams, I talked to a gentleman, Simon, who's in the UK, another gentleman in Rhode Island, you in Wisconsin. One of the beauties of the internet is, I say, you all could be anywhere in the world right now, and you choose to be here with me and Wally. So thank you all for that.
And I bet you didn't know the WI in Supreme Gecko is actually for Wisconsin. Nobody realized that, I bet. I never realized the MI was for Michigan. I never made that connection, even though I know that you're from Michigan. So we're talking about titles and we're talking about descriptions. And if anybody has comments about if they've seen, channels, if they've seen videos, especially, and a title sticks out, a description sticks out. And we're going to talk a lot more about titles tonight than we are descriptions. And we're not going to go 2 hours like I have in prior live streams. We're going to try to keep this a little bit shorter. But again,
we say that now.
We say that now. Will somebody make me a bet that if I lose and we do go over 2 hours, I've got to do something like trim one of my eyebrows or something. So again, descriptions are important. We're going to talk really super quick about descriptions, and we're really going to get into titles because I think titles are so important. So, and we've said this before, I'm going to bring it up one more time. Most important thing about having people constantly watch your content when you're doing YouTube videos or you're doing reels or you're doing dancing on TikTok or anything that you're doing. Number one, most important thing is drop his pants and pull a hair. There you go. It's content. Right on, Chris. It's content. People want to watch good content. And if you have crappy titles and descriptions and you have, really, really bad thumbnails, they're still going to come and watch you for the content. They're going to, if you are an expert in an area, if you just have fun and entertain, people are going to come back because of the content. But I tell you what, descriptions can kind of help out a whole lot too. Hey, Moon, how are you doing?
Sorry, I'm late.
No, that's fine. This is, like I've said before, it's very, very informal.
Better late than not at all.
That's right.
Was it Steve?
That is Steve.
Hello.
So for descriptions, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time with this, I'm going to cover a couple of things. I want you two to kind of jump in afterwards and let me know if there's something that from a description standpoint that sticks out or that you'd like to add. First of all, descriptions can be a max of 5,000 characters. I did a little research, And the average description is about 132 characters. But a lot of people use descriptions to throw in a lot of links. Now, the average number of links thrown into a description, this is average, is 7 links. That seems like a lot to me. And full transparency, in my honest opinion, descriptions aren't really super important. I feel that the only most loyal viewers will actually click on your description, unless you say in your video, watch, go to the description for more information. I feel there's 2 parts to a description: the above fold, because you'll see that when you go to a video, you'll see the above fold, which is about 130 characters. So put your most important stuff in there, because that's what's going to be searched on. Keep it simple and add SEO kind of terms. So if your video is going to be talking about ball pythons, make sure that you put something about the ball python in the first 130 characters. Keep it simple though. Let me slow down. Below the fold, first 132 characters, put things like links, your store, other good videos. If you're doing lives, put your guests' videos or links in there as well. Table of contents you can put in there. And we'll talk maybe a little bit more about that in more detail in a later series or session. You can put hashtags in there. The most way to save a lot of time is, and I'm going to say this bluntly, steal somebody else's description. Steal somebody else's description, copy it down, and change it to and especially the below the fold, and change it to personalize it and what you want in there. And then, as you do more and more videos, steal from yourself. I never, ever, ever rewrite all that information. I always go to my last video and I'll copy the whole description, and then I'll only change really the first, again, 130 characters above the fold. That's all I need. But if you steal your prior videos below the fold description, it saves a whole lot of time. Steve, what do you think about that? The description part of your videos. How much do you use them? How important do you think that they are? Anything that I missed on the description above and below the fold?
I think they're very important, and I underutilize them for certain videos. And one thing that you kind of hit on, like tangentially, is consistency, which I lack, but I like in other videos or other content, in that even visually with titles and things. For example, we talk about the difference in preferences and what people like in thumbnails. And what I like is to have it out there. But some people I will like, just as an example, I don't like a thumbnail that there's too much going on and I can't figure out exactly, but I can look past that if I know, for example, that's the thumbnail that a person provides and that's their style. So I may avoid the thumbnail and, like you're saying, go right to the description or the title to see what the video is about in the way I want. In the description, it may have, as you mentioned, timestamps, chapters, and things like that, where different things cater to different people. And with that, I try to ask people very often, what can I do, whether it's the title, the thumbnail, length of videos, music, because I always say, I don't know what I don't know. I like the videos I like, and I know I am visually attracted to what I am, but I also want to make sure I'm, as you mentioned, learning from other people. If I want to attract more people, I can learn from those thumbnails, where it may not matter to me on some videos. Like a video may just be more about me venting, and I don't care. But my point is, it's very good to have that consistency, because even as I'm mentioning, if you go to, someone like me, my channel, when you see videos that may not have a thumbnail or a description, you may know, oh, that's his live stream. I don't like those on his channel, so I'll skip it. Or, oh, that's the thing I like that he does. There are certain people who are attracted both visually to things like thumbnails, where people like me, I couldn't generally care less if there's a thumbnail I like. It's where there's a very blatant description where it just says, boa hatches, or, brand new isopods. I like that thumbnail, whereas I know I'm a minority in that, and lots of people like the thumbnail that grabs their attention. And that's where I always say, challenge yourself to see what other people prefer outside of and see how you can grab people's attention, connect with them, do things like that. I think it's very important, underutilized, and including hashtags in them is something I don't see enough of.
Yep, I completely agree. Now, hashtags, and I'm going to get to you, Moon, too, in just a second. Hashtags, I feel, are a little bit underutilized, but if you're putting hashtags in there for the algorithm, for the YouTube algorithm, it really doesn't matter. What everything I've seen, probably a dozen videos, and every single one says it really doesn't matter. What it does matter is if you use those hashtags. Like I might have. Steve, you might have something like, zebra isopods in a hashtag. Somebody might just click on that and see other videos that are about zebra isopods. But I've never, ever done that. I don't know if anybody else.
I also try to put them in my title for that reason, in that you may see, as you mentioned, zebra isopod, clown isopod, and they click that, and it may take it to your video. That, again, if you start using those links yourselves, it's kind of a way to link that. I do it with my GoPro often, or time lapses, for example, to see if someone likes time lapses, and they may stumble across mine and do that.
Yep. I never use the hashtags. I think they add a little bit, but not much. And I'll be honest, you don't want somebody, I hate to say this, but if I have a zebra isopod video, and Steve, you have a zebra isopod video, I don't want somebody, no offense, but I don't want somebody going from my channel to your channel.
Mm-hmm.
If I want them to go to your channel, I'll put your channel's name in the description. Moon, what do you think about the whole description thing that we were just talking about?
You're talking about where right before where it says like, and then you can click on more, that one,
that whole part. So
Yeah.
you're creating a YouTube video and you have the description.
This is what Daniel Patel and Nick Nimmons always say. Right there is where you should put a link to your next video you want them to watch, because you want them to keep watching your videos.
Yes.
And what do people put on there? Their Twitter, their Facebook. And what happens then? They go somewhere else and they go away from your channel. It's not going to grow your channel. They're going to go over there and they're going to say, okay, I want to go over there. Especially if they don't really like YouTube. So you want to keep them on there. And it goes, so you go from that one to that one. And then he says, also, don't forget also in your video, the ending, to go to that same video, maybe a video that's not doing too good. That way you get more traffic over there. And then pretty soon, how when you're looking at videos, how on the side there where it's recommending other videos, he says pretty soon you're going to look there and all you're going to see is your videos, not somebody else's videos. So that's what the other person is going to start seeing. They're going to say, oh man, look, there's more videos here of him. And they'll keep them on your channel, Yes. And then after the more, you can put whatever you want, because they're not going to hit them. A lot of people don't hit that more. So it's basically whatever they see right there in the middle,
Yes. So, one of the big points that you just made, Moon, was keeping people watching your videos. That's so important. The more they stay on, I tell you, there's nothing more important than for the algorithms. And like you said, having those, Supreme Gecko or Moon over Miami, those videos pop up next is because of past history of a viewer. YouTube knows a lot about Wally Kern and what Wally Kern watches. I don't let Crystal watch videos on my computer. I don't see people dancing and
because guess what?
With the stars, and
you're going to be seeing those on there.
No,
whatever you look.
She doesn't use my computer.
No, I know, but that's what'll happen. That's what people don't understand.
Yeah.
And see, in my perspective, I have 3 daughters, so I like that they use mine, because then I get to see what they're going through. It flashes. I get to see what's going on in their world.
Yes.
Except what they deleted.
Yeah. There's ways. There's ways.
Yes.
So the important thing here is that, the longer you can keep somebody watching your videos, watching your content, the more YouTube is going to say they really like that Supreme Gecko channel or whatever. I'm going to give them the next one that I'm going to going to suggest is another Supreme Gecko video. So, oh, we lost Steve. Doggone it.
And then they said also,
I'm here.
in
I'm
your
just
comments-
moving.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
In your comments, you know, we know you can write a comment there. After you write the comment, you know, you say, if you like this video, go to this link to this other video. So
Yes.
now you're gonna have right there, boom. When they're gonna leave a comment, they're gonna see that, and they're gonna go, hey, I wanna see what he's talking about. Boom. So
Yep.
now you're pushing it more toward you, more videos.
I'm going to ask. I'm going to add kind of what you talked about before, Moon, on another session, and that is, and you added it right here briefly, but I'm going to expand on that and say that that end is super, super important. I've been doing that for about a year, and I can't tell you how many views I get from that end screen. Use that end screen. And here's something else that you need to do, and we mentioned this before, but as I'm talking about crested geckos and what you should feed your crested gecko, by the end of the video, I don't go, well, I just talked about what you can feed your crested geckos, and let me summarize all the main. I don't do that ever again. What I do is, I'll show them eating and say that this is the most important foods and everything. And one other thing that's really important for crested geckos is their care. Now, I just did a video a month ago on their care. You can watch that video right here. Thank you very much. Bye. So I don't give them an ending. Oh, he's
because then they're gonna click off before you finish your thing.
And I'm going to say, if you're comfortable doing that, that's cool. If you don't want to do that and spend the time, that's cool. But the more of these little things that you do, the more your channel grows, the more your videos get watched. Anything else on descriptions? You want to bring anything else up on descriptions? Either
I had one quick thing in that I can't confirm this, but I can imagine YouTube doing this. But the thing I heard was 5. But if you use more than 5 hashtags in a description, it either will not gather or use the other anything beyond the 6th, or I heard it can even penalize you. I don't know. So I've only tried to limit it to 5, and I don't know if it includes the title and the description. And this is one, again, I laugh because I always find the 1% in things, in that, like you guys mentioned at the end of the videos, and I don't know specifically the terms, but where you have the 2 videos on the left and the right come up to suggest. I've had in a couple where, because it does it in the last, 10 seconds, maybe. I don't know if you can adjust it itself, but it does that. But my point is, there are a couple where I'm watching something really closely, like a macro lens of isopods, and then boom, right there where I'm looking at those things, I'm like, oh, go away. I don't care about that.
I know
you're showing,
but again, that's a minor inconvenience.
I don't think so. I don't think it is, because for me, it's very distracting. Let me show you this, and then all of a sudden you have the end screen. I can't ever do this. So the end screen completely hides whatever you're trying to show. I always try to, and there's a lot of points to this. I always try to have that area right here or right here available at the end as I'm finishing off the video, so that I can throw up that end screen, in one portion. Then I can just point to it.
Yeah,
I'm going to.
As long as you point to the right spot. Because
yes. And then I'll just try to adjust it. So very important. Anything else on descriptions? Otherwise, we'll get into titles, which I think, descriptions are 2% of it, and titles are 98%. Where's my calculator? Doggone it. Go ahead, Steve. What do you think?
And it's just one little thing that I try to do very often is, and it's kind of basically what you guys are talking about. It's just the method I usually do it is, in a video, if I reference, the zebras that I did 3 months ago, I'll put, in the comments below, and I'll just have zebras 3 months ago, post my own videos. Or even if I'm referencing your video, something on, Russ from Aquarimax, where I learned this from this. Even I was having a conversation with, I'll slow down a little bit, about something from reindeer moss from one of Chris Biggs's videos. And it was just something similar where I try to do that, where if I use someone else's video, I reference mine or theirs below in the comment section below. I'm not very proficient at the things you guys are talking about. It's something I need to, dabble more into, but I do try to do that in kind of my own little ways when I can, where it's appropriate. And always that's the thing I try to put always at the top, so that, it's something that hopefully they see, it stands out. It's in the blue or the link color, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And my feeling with that is it's good to do both. The end screen, I think, is way more important than the comments, because a lot of people, again, we keep driving toward a TikTok world. 5 seconds, that's all you get. 10 seconds at the most. I might not even like a video, unfortunately. I might never, ever go to a description. I might never go to the comments. So somebody that really spends the time and gets to the end of their video, they're probably more apt to click than, somebody that watched a minute out of a 6-minute video and maybe won't go to your comments or go to the description. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying that maybe do both for the people that have a preference.
It's there for everybody.
Redundancy is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Any questions about descriptions? I think we've covered a lot of this. We didn't cover the table of contents thing much. I think we'll push that off, because I think that there's kind of a mixed, is there really value? Is there some problems with putting a table of contents? See session 28, because we're going to talk more about that or whatever. We'll talk about that more later, because that's another topic. Let's talk about titles. So who's walked through a grocery store? Well, when I go to the grocery store with Nanette, and here's the story. We go down aisle 1, then we go down aisle 2, then we go down aisle 3, and then we go down aisle 1, and then we go down 4, then we go back to 2, and then back to 1. And by the time we double cover one of those aisles, I'm out of here, man. I just cannot do the whole, I'm picking on you. Sorry.
I know, I can tell.
Where am I? Where do I go? Where do you think I go in the grocery store when Nanette hits that aisle number 1 the second time? What do you think? I jump over to the magazine, the car. Yeah, not the car. I'm jumping over to the magazines and I'm reading Outdoor Life. And let me know when you're done, Nanette. But
it's only because you say, "Oh, can we get this?" and then I have to go back and get it.
So. Yeah. Magazine rack. Picture the magazine rack as your YouTube channel, and you see, the titles, of these articles in these magazines. I came up with a couple of articles that would make me stop and look at that magazine. Princess Di was abducted by aliens. Yeah. Increase productivity. Grow another arm. Betty White, more affairs than Wilt Chamberlain. So things that really grab your attention, you're going to stop. And that's all that we want as a YouTube. I feel as a YouTube creator, we want somebody to stop instead of click, scroll. We want them to stop for just that, even 0.5 seconds, and think about, maybe I want to click on this. Now, if it's something like, and this isn't about search. We'll talk about search and SEO and stuff like that in just a second. This is about getting somebody to stop because that title is different or appealing. Curious. It makes you curious. It makes you fear. Don't do this or your crusteds will all die. It's desire. I did this and now I breed thousands of crested geckos. I hate to keep saying crested geckos, but you kind of get the gist of all that. So you got to catch them. You've got to catch them for that half a second with those emotions. Or you put keyword, and you should do keywords anyways, but I want to find out about Steve, give me a rarer isopod. Give me the name of a rarer
Hoffman Zagai.
Hoffman Zagai. If I want long-term results from my videos, people coming, every day, I'm getting views every day. I'm going to put that Porcelio Hoffman Zagai word as far in front of that title as I possibly can, so that maybe we look better.
we might.
So all of our lights went out. I'll flip them
Well,
on. So
they do it on purpose.
that
Mhm.
that title has the main keywords or SEO so that people can search and find your video first among all of the hundreds of videos about Hoffman Segai. How does that sound? Does that make sense?
Well,
What do you think, Moon?
I mean, it depends. It's like some people might not know what that is.
Might not know what that is.
Yeah. I mean, I know what an isopod is, but what he just said, I'm like, okay. It's kind of like people with tarantulas. Everybody knows what a tarantula is,
Outstanding point.
but you put the name of that on there, and they're like, what? It's the thing is, sometimes we make it. We want to be more. The thing is, you might end up saying that, but at the end, like isopods, then the name afterwards.
Yes.
Have you seen this one? It's very rare, or because the thing is, what's going to happen when I type in there, I'm not going to be typing in there whatever. I don't even see. I don't even know what name he said. So I'm going to be in there typing, looking for isopods or geckos. I'm not going to be looking for whatever color that gecko or whatever gene that is. That's where people mess up sometimes. You make it too hard. We're not all geniuses. We're not, we don't all have the knowledge. You don't want to scare people away, because it's like that's what happens in some of the talks. Oh, well, that's not the scientific name. You can't just call it that. It's like, it's still an isopod. It's still a tarantula.
I like what you're saying there, and I actually have a point right here. I'm pointing to my point. Avoid insider language. How to avoid a problem between L2 and L3 stages of your mantis. Instead, use something like 3 ways to avoid mantis molting issues. Right? If I can paraphrase. Or my Armadillidium klugi Montenegro have mankai. What?
Yeah.
And instead, use something like so many baby clown isopod and show a big picture of a clown isopod on the thumbnail. So while I said, use Porcellio Hoffman Segai, that's kind of insider kind of language that only us isopod.
Yeah. You want to get them there first. Then once you have them in there, then you want to explain to them what you're talking about.
So maybe that title that I just used is way too focused, too narrow, because I'm not going to get Angie. I might not get Moon because they have no flipping idea what a Porcellio Hoffman Segai is.
On this point, they were, what's his name? Nimmons was even talking about this. He said, like, people that, like, there was one person, I guess they teaching people how to speak English, but then she put on there for 35 to 50, years of age. So what? So that means I'm 60 something. So I guess I'm not going to watch that video because it's not for me. So he said, don't cut yourself off from everybody out there. You have to make it, hey, anybody having problems speaking English, I can teach you those hard words.
Love it. Steve, what do you think? What do you think about that? Narrow down to Porcellio Hoffman Segai had babies, or kind of keep it general? What do you click on? What do you try to do?
There's a couple aspects, I think, to that. And a lot of it, to me, boils down to, I guess, the basic question of what do you want with your channel? In that, channel growth intimidates someone like me, and it's not necessarily what I look for. So, I look to talk to people who know the language, so to speak. I'm not a teacher. I'm not the best at teaching. I do things, I always say, in my own words. And but so with the titles, I try to keep it as simple as I can. What I try to do, and this is just my one thing I noticed, that if you, whether it's isopods or Hoffman Segai, Gestroy, whatever that would be, what I occasion, and this is something I do when I'm looking for new content, but I'll just type in isopods and I'll go up to the search filters and filter by date, not by hits, relevance, what YouTube wants. I want to see the new people doing something. I want to find people who have 1 viewers, get to see what's going on. And so what I'm getting at is sometimes when I type in isopod or Guestroy and I'll sort it by date, I like to see my videos there. In that I'm not, I know me, I'm not going to be the person who's recommended by getting 1 million views or whatever, but I can keep myself relevant in that way and keep myself visible. So there's all, there's different ways, but some videos for me are, you can't do that just based on the subject matter necessarily. It's not just isopods like you're getting at. And one of the things like you guys are getting at again is I want to challenge myself with those things, but for me it's kind of taking all that in stride. I say growth intimidates me, and I look at life like bandwidth. I can only pay attention to this much, and once I get outside of that, I always say I want to be able to answer all my comments, connect. And so I never want to get to the point where I feel like I'm just rushing, saying something. So, to me, I'm less worried about growth as much as I'd rather connect with you guys that I'm talking to now. And naturally the other stuff will come, but that's where I say, I don't chase the numbers. I hope they come. And if not, I'm fine. For me personally, it's quality over quantity. But again, that's where I say I'm a minority in that in a lot of ways, or I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. However, they have a bigger collection, or it's part of their income, or they're already more networked. Like you have a massive network in Wisconsin. So, it's massive enough, but so you're plugged in, all of that comes into play. I think with, are you chasing people? Are you trying to develop and foster what you already have? And some people have a lot, especially younger people have, I'm not that smart. I'm a Marine, and I always laughingly say, and I'm Polish, so I got 3 strikes against me. So I take things very, very, very slow, and to the point where it will often frustrate people. They're just like, it's just a program, it's just an app, just do it. And that kind of frustrates me even more. So, all of these comes into play with it's, and I always say a lot, it's balance, finding the balance between what you want. Are you some videos, I would like, if they went viral for something or got a lot of hits. Some like you and this is not just a crested gecko video. Some videos, you're happy if you got 1 view and you don't care beyond that. And so, all that comes into play where, don't take, and the last thing I want to touch on with all of that, never take metrics personally, never. You can't chase that. And that's why I say a lot of this is passion and doing what you want, because YouTube is not going to tell good people how successful their video is. You know that before you even post it.
Agreed 100%. So 2 points I'm pulling out of that. And one, I'll segue back to the title stuff. One, you're saying, I don't know if, that's my purpose with doing YouTube videos. And I'm not going to go into all the metrics on it, because here's my focus. I want to be this, here's my goal. I'm not going to spend the time that Mr. Beast or, Brian Barczyk does with creating these YouTube, mega structures. This is me, and this is what and that you've got to be true to yourself. We've said that on other sessions. The second thing I want to point out is that in the beginning of your conversation, and Steve, I think you're still a little bit loud, but in the beginning of your conversation, that's not fine. In the beginning of your conversation, and you alluded to, I don't want people getting the wrong idea. So, what do we call titles that give people the wrong idea, or that don't,
the C word,
the big clickbait word? So there's
no clickbait is what he's saying.
Clickbait. So Moon might define clickbait something different than Steve does, and maybe something that I do, or something that Brian Barczyk defines as clickbait. My definition of clickbait is, if I say it in the title, I better just deliver it in the content somewhere. Now,
at the end.
at the somewhere
Yeah.
in the content, I better deliver what I'm promising in the title. Now, what if I use a title that's and thumbnail? Oh my God, I lost. This is your African fat tail, Steve. You could have in your title my worst nightmares and big thumbnail. Oh,
Yeah.
you might
Yeah.
not be very comfortable with that. I probably wouldn't be comfortable with that, but I would say something like, I lost, a very animal close to me or something like that. You have to do what you're comfortable with, but you better deliver on your
Yes.
promise in the content, or you'll have people jumping off the ship like rats. That's my thought.
Yes. You're going to get nasty comments too.
Yes, exactly. So everybody has their definition of clickbait. It's just what you're comfortable with, to tie everything that Steve said in there. We said shorter is better, absolutely. And I had a comment here and I lost it already. My apologies, but somebody said about title and thumbnail and using less words, and I let my thumbnail. So here's my thought. Description is a lot. Title is more confined, condensed, and then thumbnail is very, 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 very short. 2 to 3 words, and then going backwards again. Title is a little bit more descriptive, and then finally the description, you can put whatever you want in there. Yes, good job. I agree. Simplicity, the title, and just simplify the title and just let the people speak. The photos speak for anything the viewer may be guessing. Absolutely. Here's something that, I have my script, and I'm not going to give all of these tips and techniques. It's already on the Collab Facebook page, and the whole script is there, and there's some great title examples in there. You can go to that. But what I did want to bring out is call out the viewer. I think a lot of times I unfortunately fall into the trap of I want to show people how to breed Nephurus melii, and I assume everybody knows about Nephurus melii and everybody knows about breeding them. So I'm going to kind of talk to their level, whereas I'm doing just a shame to that video in my channel by not, just like we said, bring it down 5 levels and talk about geckos first. I find I do that unfortunately a lot, where I start here and I stay there, and I should start way down here and maybe by the end bring it up a level. So again,
because you don't know if they're the first time viewer or not.
Yes, and the more people you can attract, you might lose some because I had the first melii, I know nothing, so I'm going to jump. But the more people that you can at least get to click and watch your first few minutes, as long as you're true to the title and thumbnail, the better off you're going to be. Just going down here. What are your thoughts? Any more thoughts on the title? We talked about shorter. The title can be 100 characters. I try to use a lot of that title, unfortunately, a lot of my videos, because I'll say something, kind of catchy in the front, and then I'll maybe try to describe it a little bit more in the back, like Nephurus melii, because I know that that's important for search terms.
But then the thing about the title, remember, they're not going to see that unless they, all the other words, unless they hit more.
Well, that's description. They'll see only the first 100.
Oh, you're talking about...
I'm talking about the title, because they'll see the title in the, next videos to watch, the next playlist down the side. Any other thoughts about the title? How about everybody in the chat? What draws your attention to a video? Let's say that you go to YouTube and you want to watch some videos. What draws your attention? We just lost Steve. Steve fell over. We know Steve, though, a little bit too much of this.
Water, I promise. Some of that ginger ale, like they say in hockey. No, it's good water.
There you go.
Just some rice water. Just some rice water.
And I do say, like I said, for the way I search, I think titles are just the key word. I say YouTube is just tricky with that. And even once you start looking for things outside of YouTube itself, and that's one thing I wanted to touch on is, sometimes you need to think of the fact that, like you say, someone may be finding these videos outside of YouTube. So that's one of the reasons I do try to utilize the descriptions and keywords like that, because there are videos, even sometimes, whether I'm looking up issues with my GoPro or isopod stuff, sometimes I just, Google it before I go into YouTube, but it pulls me back into YouTube, which again, that's my point. So and it's not generally based off the title. Sometimes it is, but I'll see it's something that it'll trigger off of a hashtag, or like I say, something specific like that, where it's in the description, not necessarily the title. And Google or search engines can pick those things up. So that's another interesting just thing with all these are tools and things that some people use, some don't. Some people don't need a hammer, some people do. So
But that's a really good point, because we all know the number one search engine, at least right now, before Chat GPT really takes over, the number one search engine in the world is Google. What's anybody know the number two search engine?
Well, you do know that Google owns YouTube.
The number two is YouTube. The number two most used search is YouTube. So yes, it's all kind of packaged into one.
Because they're all the same.
They're all the same.
It's
So
just a different name.
If you go to YouTube, and people in the chat, if you go to YouTube and you want to search something, what do you type in? Do you type the keyword? I use keywords, just like Steve was talking about isopods. Steve, you're real super dark. So
I'm trying to make the sunset stand out.
Oh,
you disappeared, but the sun is just beautiful. So what do people go to YouTube and type in that little search thing? Do you use the keywords, or do you use another phrase?
well, because I mean, when you type in something like I said, okay, like if you're looking for that certain isopod, if you type in isopod, because in that sentence, whatever, even if it's somebody that already knows the name of that isopod they're looking for, either if they use one or the other, it's still in that same sentence. So then YouTube is still going to come up with that same thing. So, but like I said, you're probably going to get more people that know what an isopod is than what the name, the real name is.
Yes.
So, that's going to send more traffic your way. So that's why I was saying you got to keep it kind of simple. You can still put it in there, but you want to get sure everybody, not just 100 people, you want to get 1,000 people looking up the same thing.
Yes. And you might get, instead of 100 or 1,000, you get those 1,000, and maybe you only get 200 or 300. Well, that's even bigger than your other, list of 100 people.
Yeah.
I have and I put up, Frank said how to. So if you go to YouTube, Frank's saying I put in how to more frequently than any other term that I put into keywords.
I'm going to use that. How to set up isopod bins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
30. This is a fact number that I found recently. 30% of all the first time typing into the keywords is the first two words are how to. 30% of everybody types in how to before they type in anything else. That blew my mind. Just blew my mind.
But then guess what? Now you're going to also, if everybody's using that hashtag, now you're going to get billions and billions of people. And if you're not the most popular one, guess where you're going to be at? All the way in the bottom.
But
So
if you don't use that at all, you're still
Yeah.
going to be on the bottom, right?
Well, but you use that one. Now, if you use something else, see, that's the thing that people don't understand. It's like kind of like the song, like when you use that same song over and over until people get tired of it. Pretty soon, when they hear it, what do? They swipe away, and I don't want to even watch the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. At first, it'll be, I want to watch that. I want to listen to that over and over again. But then once you hear it 20,000 times, is the same thing that happens when you have an intro, like in your videos, you have that long intro. If I'm one of your guys, what happens? Oh my God, I gotta watch this again.
Seen it.
And they click forward, and guess what? That messes up your analytics too, because they're going to be clicking forward instead of watching your video from beginning to end.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you have to play with that. I think that you have
Yes.
to play with that. And whether you want to admit it or not, the hard thing is if you want to keep moving forward, you kind of have to look at the analytics eventually.
Yeah.
I look at analytics about once a month or so just to see what's going on, see if some of the video. And one of the most important things that I do is I look at that retention in a video and see if, oh my gosh, did I swear in the beginning of this video that, I went from 70% down to 10%? 50%. I wear a costume. Yeah. And people jump ship when they see me in a costume. A lot of people don't realize, but if you're sitting at 50% retention after about a minute or so, you are golden. That's some good numbers right there. And we're going to talk about analytics again in another session, but don't sweat it. But if you're seeing, this line and then you're going to drop off the peak a little bit, but it, kind of levels out, it plateaus a bit.
That's what Daniel Patel was talking about. He goes, let me show you all my videos. And he goes, look, some people, they want to see that thing way up. Yeah, but it's going to go away as far as, and then it's going to drop. But you want to see that slope, still
sustainability.
Steady. Yes, he goes. Because you're not gonna maintain that growth, once you get to because he goes, especially the more YouTube puts it out to more people, the group gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And guess what? It's gonna start going down, but then you want it to steady all the way across.
Absolutely. There's 100 different ways to try to get, the best title. I can think of a few things. I'm going to talk about tools in just a second. But again, this document, my script, is sitting over there on the Collabs Facebook page in a file. You can see all of this, stuff that I put into the show before and then talk about 10% of it. There's a bunch of different tools that you can use. One of the best things to do, though, I don't know what video to make next. I know it should be something about isopods. Go out there and say how on YouTube, type in how to isopods, how to feed isopods, how to change substrate for us. And then, I know that, and I need to do that, in the next week or so. I'll just do a video of it. So you can use the search yourself and find some really cool titles. Go out to Russ from Aquarimax Pets and see what he's titling his. Don't blatantly steal his ideas or the same stuff that he's saying in his videos. You can make it your own, but go out to one of your favorite creators and kind of get a feel for what he's doing. Wicked, I can't think of the name now. Gosh darn it, it's escaping me.
Wicked's reptiles.
Yes, he does. He does the best or the worst.
The top 10, the top 5. 10.
A lot of the best and the worst. You could do something like that. Watch
tier lists are a thing I want to see more of. I love tier lists.
Yes, and a lot of
I want to do an isopod tier list soon myself.
Do it because that's what a lot of people want to see. They want to see that top 7, top 5, top 3 best, titles, top something. Great ideas for titles of videos is go out to search and just look it up, or go to your favorite content creator and find out what they're putting out. And again, don't steal, but just kind of use it. Another tool, and I do not want to stop the show without saying this, is, and if you don't know what Chat GPT is yet, you probably better start looking it up on search on YouTube if you're a creator. I'm not saying that you have to know everything about Chat GPT, but I will say that I use it now this last probably month, probably for every video that I do, not to I type in, give me a whole script of feeding crescent geckos, and then it will give you a whole script, page after page that you can follow along. What I will do, though, is I'll go out to ChatGPT and I'll say, give me a better title for a YouTube video than whatever Wally was thinking he should title this video. And it might give me something that doesn't have anything at all to do with what I wanted to say, but it might give me something kind of interesting that I might want to consider. I'm going to bring up a couple of these. I'm going to see if I can find one for Moon. Moon, I have your video name right here, and I'm going to throw it in the contents. Let's see let's see. And Steve, you're next for this. And I tell you what, if you don't have thick skin, then maybe you guys and everybody else should bail, because this is, let's help each other. And you can do this or you don't, it doesn't matter. But I do want to share this. Jumping Spider Life. I like that title. Here's what Chat GPT came up with. So Chat GPT now is kind of a new, last year or so, new version. It's AI.
It scares me.
It scares the heck out of me too, because it can do so much. But let's see what Moon's suggested. Moon, you need to use this title. Here it comes.
Let's see.
Let's see if you would actually use this. The adorable world of jumping spiders. Witness their fascinating life and behaviors. So again, you might use it, you might not. You might look at that and say, and that's not me.
It's too wordy.
Too wordy, that's not me.
Yeah.
But maybe instead of catching the 100, you might catch 1,000, and you might keep 200. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I was
That's a mouthful.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Moon? Would you use that?
No,
I'm not going to get offended if you say no.
No, I probably wouldn't. I mean, I'm kind of like because even I'm a security guard officer. Even when we write reports, they always tell you KISS, keep it simple.
KISS. Yep.
Yes.
But again, in a title, it's better to kind of hit those emotions a little bit too. So maybe it's a balance. Maybe it's a blend. Maybe it's, here's what I'm thinking. And then I use this, and maybe I want to use a couple of words here like fascinating or adorable, or I don't know. So it's another tool, right?
Like this is the thing that I've noticed. People don't read the titles. Because
stop that read.
Because no, I'm serious, because I have a the video says Jumping Spider Life. Okay. In they say they saw the video, and then in the comment they say, "Oh, nice tarantula."
I saw that. Yeah. Yep. I saw that on one of your videos.
I'm like, or they ask, "Oh, what kind of spider is that?" Okay. I don't know.
Everybody's going to get some of those.
But I mean, it's like
I did a show Tuesday with Josh from IsoBuddies, and here's the title he used. I hope you didn't see the beginning. Here's the title that he did: Budgeting Hobbies with Wally Kern. Okay, you want to see what it came up with? Chat GPT. Okay. Here's what it gave us. Maximize your fun. Mastering hobby budgeting with Wally Kern. There's a couple of emotional words in there. Mastering, sounds like somebody's an expert, but I don't know if that's true. Maximizing. So,
that sounds good to me, human.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I want to do one more. Do I have one for Steve? I do have one for Steve. Steve, tell me if you would use this or not.
I think this one's kind of a bummer, but
I know. But you know what?
It is what it is.
What it is. Bad news. RIP. Stripe my AFT. I know. And again, sorry for the bad
Thank
news.
you. I appreciate that.
Sorry for your loss.
Sorry for your loss. Here's what Chat GPT said you should be using.
Let's see.
Now, to be very honest, and I'm not saying you should have done this. Please don't take it that way.
I never take anything personal.
Here's where, gosh, of all the titles that I looked up, I looked up about I don't know, a dozen, maybe not a dozen, 6 or 8 titles here. And of all the titles, I think this one kind of hit me with, maybe that's one I would really use. All the other ones, especially, Moons with the jumping spider, I would never ever use that, but I might pull a word or two out of there. But this one feels kind of like maybe I'd use that one, or maybe strip it down just a little bit.
It seems too emotional, but like I said, I think I told you earlier, like I don't think I'm really processing it in that way yet. I'm still kind of looking at now I'm going to have to do this, and this as the fallout, and not really, it stinks. it does.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. So,
but it's just one of those things. But the beautiful thing is she's what got me into isopod specific. Like I say, I got her as a rescue, and she, in fact, I think one of the issues was they were on that. I don't even know, but it's the sand you're not supposed to use for leopards and African fat tails. It leads to compacting. So when I got her, she had already dropped her tail. She had that. She was skinny. So I hopefully gave her a good life. But like I said, then it got me into the bioactive because I wanted to get her in something good. Isopods, and like I say, now that was a big kick in the, if not the whole reason, the majority of how I got to, again, why I'm here with that today. So it's a bummer, but it is what it is, sadly.
And you know what? You and I can chat offline certainly about it and see if I always like to look at things like that and see if there was a reason, but it's up to you. Here's another one that I came up with for Doolittle Exotics. Aaron has been on the other sessions.
I love Doolittle. He has so much pep, too much pep for me sometimes, but in a great way.
Watch his latest video.
I saw his significant other shaking his head at him. I say that some people have that positivity, and some people just kind of, it's too early.
I'm in the middle. Nanette will tell you after a show like this, I fall off a cliff for emotion and so here's what it said. His title was "Take a Peek at What We Got from the Reptile Show."
And that's his new video too. Yeah,
this is his new video, and he opened it just with so much emotion and excitement.
Yes.
Check this out. This was kind of now it might not apply to what I don't think it actually applied fully to what he showed in his video, but it might be something that he could, use a little bit of, maybe. A great reptile show. I don't know. So I think it's always interesting to put a title into this chat GPT, see what comes up, and maybe you can use it. Maybe you don't want to use it, but maybe you steal a word or two to add some emotion to your titles if you want to do that.
And one thing and this is one thing I try to do a lot, is experiment. So, again, if I'm putting a isopod bin together, I may do one where I started with the hashtag isopod. I may do one where I just start with, in the future, how to, and see again, do one where I maybe focus intensely on a thumbnail. Maybe you do one where I focus, but again, all those things to play around with what could essentially be the same video, but see, maybe something sticks, maybe it clicks, or maybe you say you find accidentally that the how to, different version of it somewhere else, the whatever people, or you may start something, who knows. But
another tool in your toolbox.
Yeah, and like they say, you have to try it with a bunch of videos in order so you can see, because the thing with YouTube, you can do a video and you think, this one's not going to do so bad, and then all of a sudden it's like you get 3,000 views in less than an hour, and you're like, okay, and then you do one like, oh, this is the one, and 20 views, 30 views.
Exactly.
Don't take metrics personal. The most popular video I think on my channel is, again, because this channel has been around for a while, but I think my most popular video is a lyrics on screen video of a Stevie Wonder song. That's, again, specifically I made because when I tried to find it, I couldn't find it. So I was like, I want to put this out there, and then now apparently, like, anytime you look up the lyrics for that song, mine is the one that comes up. So again, I'm not good at an isopod channel. Apparently I'm great at lyrics though.
Yeah.
Speaking of your channel,
there it is.
While this could go on for God knows 2 hours, let's take a look at your channel here, if you don't mind.
And if you keep me late, my kids will like it because they'll get to stay on their devices for a little bit longer.
12 o'clock. We've been up until 12. So I am going to kind of walk through a little bit of this. So this is open to everybody. And again, Steve, thick skin,
I love
comment,
criticism and feedback as long as it's
creative.
positive.
Yes, creative criticism. That's what we're striving for here. And take what you want and dump the rest because it doesn't fit your personality, what your goals are. And again, I'm going to say this real quick. Steve's goals are externalize, share, and hopefully use what I see, experience, and learn to inspire people and help them gain an appreciation for nature and themselves. Eventually, number two, eventually make it a job of sorts for additional income. Sure, wouldn't we all like that? So, taking a look at this, comments, concerns, questions. I'll be super honest with you, Steve. I don't call your channel out because and this is just me, I see it and I don't process it into speech and being able to say something, but I'll see it and see it and see it, and know what it is. But my isopods and more with me, if you remember, I've been on your channel many, many times, and during the 12 Supreme Days of Christmas, I always was confused with the name of your channel.
And that's very consistent and something I'm trying to, again, any tips, advice, because you're exactly right. And people say it, not that I care, but different ways, which again, that's something I need to correct.
Yep. And if you do, that's cool. If you don't, that's cool too. So
what's the M for?
Michigan.
Oh, okay. See, that's, yeah.
And then specifically, like I say, I even started a Facebook group, and the reason is I'm trying to start networking locally in Michigan. That's one of the, again, I don't want to say a goal of my channel, but I do want to be able to, again, go out maybe one day on my walks and hang out with someone, get them some wood. I'm going to be sending some of this wood right here, as a matter of fact, to Chance, who a local guy again. So he gave me some zebras, and just that's part of my thing, is trying to use this to network and socialize. As I'm not good at it, more so online, but with the way COVID kind of sent everybody in, I had to kind of resort to online, and it's been a nice experience because all of it, like we're saying, that for me, I'm struggling, but learning, trying to make things better. And again, I'm getting so much different perspective from other people. It's fascinating.
And that's, again, if there's one purpose of this whole session thing, this whole collab, it's so that we can all learn. And this is by no means, pointing things out, judging, or anything like that. This is Wally feels or Moon feels, and from some experience, and maybe that's the right good experience, or maybe it's not. Maybe I'm headed down the wrong way, and you shouldn't do what I'm doing, or Moon, or whatever. This is all. Here's a bunch of stuff we're saying, and take it for what it's worth. And if you want to change, that's cool. If it's not, if you don't, that's cool. I look at
and I always say, like, you view the world through the lens of your own bias, and you don't know what you don't know. And that's what, and in fact, that was one of the things I wanted to mention, because you touch on it a lot, like, you be brave, go out there. But you always kind of risk the failures or all of that when you're doing this, and be brave, put yourself out there, and hopefully, like I say, in this, we can help each other improve. I guess what I was getting at is, I'm going on one of those moments. I'm gonna hush.
That's all right. I'm looking at this, and not that I have a great one, but I feel, in my opinion, your intro is 8 minutes and probably like 6.5 minutes too long.
I was gonna say 7 minutes too long.
I think mine is like 3 or 4. I don't even remember now. Who actually goes to intros and clicks them? I don't know.
See, and I do that.
That's
That's why I put time into it. Like that's one of the interesting things where I say you view the world through the lens of your own bias. I love that when I go to the channel and in the first thing I get to do is find out what this guy or girl is about, why I should watch them, and what them telling themselves why. Hey, Steve-O, why you should watch me because of this. And so that's where I say, like, my perspective may not be. It's not right, but that's where I say, I put a lot of thought into it because that's what I want. But like I always say. And you say that's not what I'm not 99% of people.
There you go.
See,
Nor
the thing
any of
is, they say that you don't really have to do an intro video there. You can just put one of your regular videos of what your channel's about. One that it's like me. I didn't do an intro video for the one that pops up, and it has when I was feeding a tarantula out in the wild.
Nice. So
And
that catches I feel that catches attention and gives people a feel for your channel.
I have over 250 comments on that.
There you go.
And it's just a short. It's just a short.
Yeah.
But then that basically, I like tarantulas. I want to see more of this.
Steve, I'm looking at your first page here. And I'm not going to jump into, community and channels, blah, 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 lives, but I don't see playlists. Again, I don't know who goes to playlists. Let me just go here real quick. Do you have playlists? Yes, you do.
If I do, it's very few and from way back in the day. And again, but part of the reason is, and this is where I struggle because when I tried to put them together on various channels that I have, I've never seen success or again, if the metric is there that to see it, I don't see it, and so that's where I don't like putting time into doing it. If there's no payoff, I think it's a waste.
The playlist. Is
there a way to see that how they engage with that?
There are.
The playlists are for one purpose. If you want to get watch time, people can click on the playlist and play all your videos all at once, and they don't have to every video. It'll just go to the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one.
I tell you what, I use playlists from other people's channels a lot. So I'll go to Nick Neiman. I'll start the video. I'll find one of his playlists. I'll literally type Nick Neiman and playlist, and I'll find one that I like. And I'll on my phone, I'll go downstairs and I'll work on geckos. And I'll hit the playlist, and I'll not stop it until I'm done with geckos. No,
that is just wild and fascinating. I've never done that in my life. Yep. And again, that's why I say I love these moments where I'm, that just blew my mind because I've never done it in my life, and I won't after this.
So I don't know.
And the thing with playlists, you don't want to put premieres on there because the premieres will stop.
Yeah.
If you put a premiere in there,
hold on. Can you premieres? What they won't appear on a playlist.
But what'll happen is when it gets to that premiere, after it plays, it'll stop. It won't continue to the next one.
And if you don't know, real quick for anybody watching, a premiere is a way that you can indicate that a video, when it goes live, you can do a private and blah, 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 public, or you can do premiere. And if it's a premiere, then you can be there in the chat. It actually pulls up a chat.
They're awesome.
They are cool. And I love them. And the chat, you can talk to people. Oh, did you have questions about what I'm presenting here? Let me know. Mm-hmm. And then once it's done, then that chat disappears just like a live. But that video stays out there as a non-live video and looks just like a regular video. But like Moon is saying, don't put a premiere video in one of your chats. So again, if you want
in a playlist, yeah.
In a playlist, I'm sorry.
Premieres all in one if you want.
Yes. Yeah. So playlists, I use them a lot. I think that if you had I use them a lot for this reason, because I do videos on feeder insects. I do videos on rare geckos. I do videos on isopods. If you have two kind of similar or multiple topics that you have 2 or 3 or 4 videos for, do a playlist, and then right on your first, thing here, you might want to do the most current videos, and then drop down and then have a playlist. Here's the playlist. And
it does give you a couple auto option, if I'm not mistaken. All right, like that you don't have to create, so to speak.
You can add, when you create your video, you can add it on the very first screen. You know, you have got like 5 or 6 screens. On that very first screen, you can say this playlist or this video belongs to this playlist. And you can make that playlist visible to the public, or like I have several of my playlists private because it's something about the editing software that I'm doing, or it's about how to learn about shorts. So that's something I want to watch. So I have a playlist that I can watch like that. So
all of my videos, I'm sure.
So exactly. So you could do some stuff there. Let's talk about your videos here. And I'm going to jump into, which one should I jump into? I'm going to jump into this very first one, Steve. And I know this is kind of a downer. I hope it's not too bad.
Hey guys, it's Mysopods and more with
And
me.
I think I even
hope
specifically
everything-
mentioned I didn't edit this at all because it was, you'll hear in the video.
I am going to jump into one that I want to show people something really cool. Here we go. I feel like dancing.
It's funny. I hear mixed results about this, but one day I'll talk with you about a lot of thought went into that. Oh, I love that saxophone.
So give me the good stuff that you've heard about that intro and give me the bad stuff.
So the good news, the good stuff is a lot of people like the personalizing the energy of it. The that again, it's just it's short, but some people, from what I hear, just don't like intro. There's no. I don't want an intro. Can you skip it? Can't you know? It's not anything very constructive. Like too long, too short, too much. But so again, a mixed bag with that.
Moon, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody that's been, for years and years on YouTube that are, like Nick Nimmons and they always say intros, a couple seconds, all you need. You don't want long intros because especially if there are persons that are subscribers to your channel and they've watched hundreds of videos, they're gonna, they're like, okay, again, and they're gonna fast forward. So it's gonna mess with your analytics basically, and it's gonna,
Yeah, and I'll add, you said people that come to your channel, I watch it and I just enjoy seeing your kids, and I enjoy the music, and I enjoy the energy, and I enjoy a lot of things about your intro. Moon, you said existing subscribers or people that come to the channel a lot. I'll say just the opposite. Anybody that's new, let me show you how to breed zebra isopods. And then they see this video that's 10 seconds or 15 seconds long. I can't remember how long it is, but they might be buzzing out of there. They might be saying, I didn't come here to see this 15 seconds of this guy's life. I don't flipping care about his kids. Again, Steve, don't take it personal, and that's not nice, but I love seeing it every single time.
I mean, it's like it's kind of like what your channel's about. Okay, that's a thing. What is your channel about? That's why they looked up the channel.
To your point, seeing that intro is 100%, Steve. That's what you're about, and that's why I love it so much. But somebody new coming in might say, "No, I don't care. I don't care."
And one other thing I heard is also I don't know if it may just be by the nature of the song, or I don't know if maybe if I should turn the audio down, but it's a punch in the face kind of, if you're not ready for it.
Yeah. Maybe. That's another thing. Yeah. Sometimes intros are louder.
Yeah. So are commercials on TV because they're meant to draw
your attention.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten into this droning, show, except for the laugh tracks. Now the commercial comes on and it just wakes you up.
Yeah.
Talk about Doolittle Exotics and waking you up in the beginning. Yep. I mean, you're glued to that video from the first word that he says.
Yep.
Not that this is right or wrong, but in my videos, I try to draw the attention right away. And they say, don't say, in the beginning, and we talked about this in the content, don't talk about what you're going to talk about. Talk about what you're going to talk about. So don't say, I'm going to talk about how to breed the Nephurus melii, and I'm going to talk about their care. I'm going to start a video. I'm doing better, I think. Oh my gosh, I just had eggs. Take a look at this, guys. These baby melii are so adorable. Little 5-second supreme gecko flash, and then I struggled with these melii to get them breed. I went through a lot of issues. Here's one of the issues that I was confronted. Here's how I saw it. So I'm getting right into the story right away.
There's a guy, UK medic. He's from the UK. He does a lot of intros for people. You know, he doesn't even charge. Usually people go, he goes, I'll look at your channel, see usually what he does, he gets parts from your videos and makes you an intro, so basically he's showing what you're showing on your channel, which is what you want to see. He makes a little intro, but he gets like videos that you've already have on your channel, like he's done for somebody that had RC cars, and they're jumping, different videos, and he does these amazing intros, and it's because, he's showing people what the channel's about. Your intro is introducing people. You got to think about it. You're introducing them to your channel. What are they going to expect from your channel? Are they going to expect what you just gave them to on the intro or not? That's what you have to look at it.
I agree. And in my purpose is to just make that brand recognition, because a lot of, I'm same thing, Steve. I'm trying to bring awareness and education, but I'm also branding, my product. So I throw on that Supreme Gecko little thing for, I think it's 5 or so seconds, but Laura just said same volume. So what I'll actually do is in my intro, I actually take the volume down about 6 notches because I don't want it to overcome or overpower the rest of the video.
Yeah.
I'm going back to your channel, and I just clicked on videos, and I just clicked on popular.
Top 3 music videos.
You have 2.1 thousand views on Lyrics on Screen Stevie Wonder. You have 742 views on AC/DC. I'm going to watch that one next because I love AC/DC. Creedence Clearwater Revival, 610 videos. So we've got 2 years ago, 1 year ago, and 1 month. So Nick Neiman and other people would say, flippin' do more of these Lyrics or AC/DC. Now you and I, go ahead.
I'll say, like, that's where now I do a lot on my channel where I focus on the isopods and the nature live streams. And that is just where something fascinates me, where you look at metrics versus kind of, again, what am I doing this for? And, in fact, you and I talked briefly about other channels. To me, this makes me, what I would rather do is start another Lyric on Screen or interesting video, nature music video channel. Those are the things I wonder about, because, I love doing it.
That's what Nick
these
Neiman
videos
says. Start another channel and focus on one, because he goes, what you're doing, you're confusing your audience, because these people that came in for the music, then you come out with another video of isopods and go, I didn't come for that, and they leave.
What's
that's that
what
5th video though?
Huh?
Well, can you scroll down a little bit? What's that 5th video?
So we've got 4 here. This is.
Oh, look at that!
I think you need to do more of these videos.
And then, but see, okay,
go ahead.
How many views? Okay, now this is the thing where you can do, Steve. Look at your video. Go into analytics. You know where it says, your videos. Click. Then it says analytics, and see if people are watching and how much time they're spending on it. Because just because you got views doesn't mean they even watched it. They were interested because they saw Stevie Wonder or whatever it was of that music. And they left. Sometimes people think, oh yeah, I got 10,000 views on this, and then they go look how
10 minutes of watch time.
They watch maybe a minute, or even less.
So because Stevie Wonder is, and this is what you're saying, Moon, because Stevie Wonder is in the title, people are probably searching on Stevie Wonder, finding
Yes.
yours, watching it, and going, yeah, this isn't exactly what I was
Yeah.
looking for, so I'm bailing. That's a
Yeah.
great point. Look at your analytics. Because
Yes,
what I was
you have
trying to
to
say
look at
is,
because they're confusing, and that's why now they even have, you know, how like your same thing with your shorts. If you look on your shorts now, they even give you a percentage of people watching the video and people that are just swiping it.
yeah,
So
Yep.
I've looked at some of my shorts. Some are like 80% watched, 20% not watched. But then
Yep.
some 42% watched, 50 something not watched. They just swipe through it.
Yep.
So, it kind of doesn't give you the true story until you look at all your analytics.
Yeah,
Because you got a lot of views doesn't mean they watched it. They just swiped through it.
I think, and this is just, again, this is me personally. The only metric like I care about are comments, in that I can interact with those. I can thank you. I can give a thumbs up, and that's where these videos, like if you look at those, like it's great for the channel and all that. It's not why I do it. And that's why, like I say, I get
And they
more
said
comments on a random
comments don't do
isopod video
anything.
than those. And
There is
that's
no
what I like.
analytics for that, because
Yeah.
the comments, the only thing it's good for is, like what you said, what you're getting out of it, what it's telling you, the
My
good, the
personal,
bad. It's basically, that's all the comments are for.
Mhm.
But
So I purposely asked you what your goals are, and your priority, your number one goal, Steve, again, was share and experience and learn to inspire people. But you kind of did have a number two goal. And what was that goal? Money.
To be able to sustain this. Yeah.
It's to bring in some passive income. Passive income. We're putting 20 hours into a 2-minute video. I don't know if that's passive or not. But anyways, you have to make that determination of how much effort you want to do to get to that number two goal. It probably means you need to do more of those number one and number two videos. If, like Moon is saying, if you have that watch time throughout, that's going to be your only way. That is going to be one of the key ways to bring your views and your time of watch up so that you can monetize.
the thing is, Steve, this is the thing, people think I'm monetized, but once you get monetized, you're going to find out you don't make money. I'm serious.
I made 14 cents on the last video I did, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, in that case, I'm already monetized because I'm already not making money.
Yes, you are. The thing is, people think, the thing is, YouTube is good if you have a business, or if you want to, like Wally, he has a business. This is free advertisement for him. He does good when he does his 12 things of Christmas, but now afterwards is what, anytime you give away stuff, people are going to come, but then when they don't is what you want them to come.
Yep, and we're going to get right back to that point that Steve mentioned. Oh my gosh, I have 2,000 views on this. I don't like to do those videos. On my channel, my two most popular videos are on mealworms and dubia. So, Nick Neiman would say, do more videos on your feeder insects. But that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to teach people how to raise mealworms the best. It's
about the balance in it.
To an end. The end is working with rare geckos or isopods and showing people how to care for them. So I'm not going to do every other video on mealworms or dubias. Not going to do it.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'll be doing all the work.
And one other aspect, and this is, it may have got lost in translation on my end, but not even specifically, but in terms of the monetization, I don't mean that specifically to YouTube. That's part of my networking goals eventually, as to whether it's selling isopods, the wood you see here, combination, those things. And again, finding balance, because one thing, I just don't want to take on too much at one time. And I said before, I'm very, very slow.
Steve, that's another thing. Okay. People sometimes get confused. They think they can only make money when they're monetized.
Yeah.
You can make money. Go watch Nick Nimmons. Go watch Daniel.
I have to look. I've never heard of that gentleman, so it's something I'm.
They give free advice to everybody, and if you follow what they're telling you, you can learn how to you can set up your channel to start making money, and if you're especially if you're going to get a business, you know.
Yes. And you know, again, Steve, your number one goal is way different than your number two goal. If your number two
Yes.
goal was your number one, you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Yes.
There's no way I'm coming close to making any money with YouTube. Comparing the cost of time to put into these videos.
Probably doesn't pay your internet bill.
It doesn't pay, you know, online
Didn't pay
fees.
for your dinner.
I mean, look at Brian Barczyk. He makes good money, but super chats. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. If he didn't have the super chats, he pays, but guess what? He advertises his reptilian there, you know, that zoo he has. He, you know, all the other things he sells and everything. It's basically he's selling everything. You know, that's where he's making his money. His business.
And really quick, before we move on, I'm going to have to go in a minute, just for a minute. But before I do, I want to touch off because we touched on Brian twice now, and I don't want to make it about this, but I'm going to be scheduling a live stream because I live 5 or 6 miles from the Reptarium. So I'm going to be going there with my girls this coming week. I want to say I haven't bought the tickets yet. But I'm going to be buying those this week. I'm going to be doing a live stream from there. So I'm excited about that. I haven't gotten to go there yet. So
yeah.
Nice. Very nice. I want to, if you can stay for like 2 or 3 more minutes, that's probably all the time we have.
You know what?
Yeah.
I have to step out, but I will be back in 1 minute. Let's say, so pretend I'm here or talk about without me, but I'm not going anywhere immediately. I just got to check on them. Okay. 1 or 2 minutes tops, and I will be back.
Perfect. Okay, now that Steve's gone, let's really look at his channel and really rip him apart. Okay, I'm going to pick this video. I was thinking I had a video to watch here, but I don't. Specific video, but we're going to watch this real quick.
This mistake is costing Amazon Prime shoppers.
Oh no!
Are you still using Prime? Because at this
Angie,
point,
should I watch this whole thing?
No, we don't want to give YouTube money.
It's Misopods and more with me. I hope everything is going well with you, and you are taking care of yourselves and the ones you love. I look like a mess, but that's because I'm about to go play outside in the woods, like you should probably try doing also. And it looks like there may be something in my camera lens. But that aside, I'm going to try to get 2 birds stoned at once today, and I'll show some pictures. I'm doing 2 things. Yeah, I'm going to be making a sealed jar ecosphere, which I'll talk about more later in the video. But I'm going to go out and gather pieces for that. And then while I'm out there, I'm also just probably going to grab some pieces of wood, bark, stuff like that I see laying around for my ice.
I'm going to jump a little bit into the video, and we're going to come back and talk about that first part just real quick, if this ever loads.
And we may go to the little running inlet over there. So either way, see you there.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there, and we're going to talk more when Steve gets back. But again, we're only going to hold you guys for a couple more minutes here. But
9 million.
yeah, Angie, when you put up that number, I knew that was wrong. I didn't want to say it was wrong, but I knew you had a big one, and that other number was huge. I think it was 400,000. I knew that it was several million for your biggest video. Steve's video. This is probably as nice. Steve, we just went through a little bit of this freshwater ecosphere. I want to talk a little bit about that. The intro, we just said, stop telling them what you're going to be doing and do it and right in the middle. But that intro was very adequate for what you do. I feel, knowing you, I feel that was a great, outstanding intro. If it were me, if I did that, it would be wrong for me. I would just be out there and I would say, oh, this is so cool. Look at these bugs. And then later on, I'm going to jump over here just for about 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. You're actually showing, you going through the woods and giving some description, text on the screen. That I think adds so much to your story. It's really all about a story. You're telling a story. Either that or you're wearing a clown's mask and making people laugh too. And you're telling a story. And I really feel like that fit, this whole video in my mind. Thank you, Nanette. Do you remember that video and the parts to it?
I don't remember the specific intro. I remember that video because that was, I want to do more videos. Like that. And I do appreciate you mentioning specifically the visuals, because for me personally, I'm into what I think is branded as listenable videos.
Yeah.
In that, so what I'll do is go around doing my laundry, dishes, the things for the girls, and I listen. So what I often do is overlook things like the visuals, because I often laugh at, I'll watch like a history channel where they do the animations, and I'll occasionally go read the comments and like, oh, your animations are top tier. And I'm like, I feel bad because I don't appreciate that, or I'm not there for it. And I miss a lot of things like that. So hearing these kind of things makes me, again, like I say, it makes me understand people appreciate it, because I don't personally. And so experimenting, like I say, with these things and then getting this feedback, I appreciate that.
Moon, what did you? I know we played just a little bit there, but what do you
in
think?
the beginning, the thing is, sometimes like they say, if you give too much information in the beginning, they're not going to watch it. Because especially, it's better to say like, oh, come with me to the forest and see what we find, and it's like, oh, I wonder what he's going to find.
Yep.
I want to watch, because if it's like it even says, sometimes people give the thumbnail. They show what they're going to show them, and they're like, well, I already saw what you're going to show me. Why would I watch a whole long video?
Spoiler in the movie.
Yep.
You
Yep.
you already told me who's going to die. Why do I want to watch 4 hours of a movie, and you already told me in the beginning?
I'll say again, Steve, this is very different from your other videos. I think it's loading up there, but anyways, it's very different from your other videos in that you're interacting a lot more than your other videos. You do live streams, and you're right, it's more listenable. And I'll put on your live streams if I happen to be downstairs with the geckos. I'll just throw it on. Whereas other live streams, I don't watch because there's too much visually or points that I want to stop the video and say, oh, I've got to write that down. Or I want to see I want to see the web page that they're talking about, like Nick Neiman again. We keep stealing that name, but your normal videos I'll listen to and I won't really watch. But this one, I'll sit here. I will sit here and watch this whole video instead of doing something else, if that makes sense.
And I appreciate it.
I don't know if you see another thing you can do. You can also make a playlist and put on there as a podcast. It's a new thing.
Can you something there?
The podcast where your playlist becomes a podcast. So then now it gets entered to more viewers that, just like you said, listening. And so you can put your whatever video you want on there, and it makes it so more people watch it. That's a podcast.
Was that you, Steve?
I was just trying to say, don't put my commercial out there. It's not out yet.
Outstanding.
Again,
you're showing people. I think that's outstanding. So I guess my point of anything is I love this video. I'll watch your other videos, probably more because it's you and I like to hear what you're saying and behind the scenes and stuff like that. Other viewers might not watch your other videos, but they'll watch this one.
Sorry about that. And goodness gracious, my point just left, so I'm going to hush for a moment, and that'll come back to me. Sorry about that. I had to tend to the little one.
That's all right. Anybody else with comments about Steve's video here? Yeah, we're still going.
And I just remembered what it was specific. You may have interacted with him in a couple chats, Wally. Simon at the Mantis Garden.
Mm-hmm.
He said something similar to the streams. He's doing his, going through his mantises, moving eggs, building stuff, and he'll just put it on and listen. And sometimes he'll laugh because if I'm more one of my walks, I'll say, you know, Moss is, him and I go and laugh about, because I have Moss envy. The Moss in the UK is a lot better than what we have here. And I'll point it out, and, you know, I'll say, you know, Simon, stop what you're doing, and, you know, check this out really quick. So he'll kind of, you know, I'll wait about a minute or two in the stream for him to stop what he's doing, and, you know, maybe a moss or a snail or something like that. But I you know, again, I like providing both. Like I say, that's where I do struggle, because like Moon said, it does create that confusion sometimes. And I understand, you know, am I here for live streams? Am I here for isopods? Am I here, you know, and that's why I say I try to find a little bit of balance in that. I hope I do.
I think you did. So I'll say that with your normal live streams, it might be a point where if somebody sees 1 or 2 or 3, they might be thinking, well, I get it. He's out, you know, in the stream and he's overturning some logs. I've seen it before. I'm not saying it's bad. I get it. That. But this one, I think, will bring a different interest level to people. My point being that I really think you did a great job with that video.
And before,
Steve,
and then we can move on right after. But sorry,
do you do shorts?
I don't, and I'll explain why. But this is going to leave my mind in a moment. I want to do a video similar to that one we just watched, but I want to do a native isopod terrarium where I gather isopods locally, gather the wood, leaves, substrate, all that, and again do something like that, and again have that GoPro go through the whole thing, walk with me, and do that. So I'm happy to have that feedback for that specific, because now that motivates me to do that a little bit more. But moving on to the shorts, very quickly, and again, I'm always open to feedback, but the way I view shorts. And I was part of there was a Discord that was based about getting small YouTubers to connect. And a lot of us and this was years ago, mind you, about 2 years ago. So things may have changed. But what we were experimenting with and finding at that time was that, in essence, shorts were not sustainable, and got it to the point where they would start removing subs. And it was affecting people's accounts negatively when they got a short out that got them a massive surge, because then they would see either whether it was people leaving or YouTube removing people for some reason. They had a lot of issues with that. And the way I looked at shorts is, just generally speaking, they're not sustainable in that regard. The only reason I believe I would ever use a short, and I think you've been doing it a little bit, Wally, is kind of, I would say, almost commercials to a video or a teaser to something you have coming. I personally, I don't have an interest in shorts, not the way they're designed. And also, I think I just generally say, I don't want an audience of people who are here for something in less than a minute. I just generally, I understand it's a way in, so to speak, but I've never seen it as a way in. I've generally seen it as a way for people to get quick views and clicks and attention. But again, nothing of what I'm looking for personally, which is the connections, the comments, the people staying and willing to watch a 19-minute video. And a lot of people who peruse shorts, they're not going to stop and watch my 19-minute videos. And I would rather have them not stop by in the first place and not get the metrics. Whereas I know a lot of people would like those metrics and use them to build upon. Again, that's not a tool I don't think I'm willing to use, at least initially, but I'm willing to hear feedback about it, because maybe things have changed.
Well, it depends how you make the shorts. Now, if you have, say you have one of these videos like this one here, one of the parts, like say what you're doing, you clip it. It could clip it to 15 to a minute. Okay.
Big Red, I just want to say hi really quick. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. You clip it. Once you clip it and you make a short from that, when it goes into the shorts, whoever goes there, it will send it toward your normal video, because it has a link on there. It adds a link. So when they click on that link, it will take them to the original video, which is the full length video. And that's how you get people to watch your videos. That's the way now they're designed. Yeah, when they first had shorts, they were just trying to be like TikTok and all that.
Yes.
Now you're getting paid for them, and stuff like that. They're
Okay, and I may look more into that. Like I say, that was just my
Yeah.
experience with those initial. And as I mentioned, though, that was at least 2 years ago, and more of like we're saying when it just came out, and I didn't like that setup at all.
Yeah, but it doesn't see, that's the thing. You have to people, there's a lot of rumors that they hurt your channel. They don't. It's a completely separate thing. That's what people don't understand. They're made to bring traffic into your channel, bring subscribers. The more, because basically if you look at your shorts, it goes out to people who are not subscribed to you. So then they will see it, and now they can link to your channel. They can subscribe to your channel. Before, it wasn't available to like, once you saw a short, it was just a short. There was no
Correct.
connection to your channel unless they went and looked for your channel.
And like
Now,
you alluded to, they were chasing those TikTok number of views, where basically they looked at it like, if we can get 1 million views out of a 30-second video, as opposed to a 10-minute video that gets 500 views.
yeah.
Advertisers see the 1 million views. They don't care about the time, the length. The advertisers just see that the 1 million views and want that.
Yeah.
I think we could probably go another hour and a half just on shorts. I'd like to make that another
Ironically.
session if you guys
Yeah.
don't mind. I know.
I'm just saying, because you say you want to get monetized.
Yeah.
That is your goal.
Yes, and in fact,
Okay.
in the monetization, and this is one thing I didn't know. There's a specific
For shorts, but
metric, I guess, or whatever.
you have to, for shorts, if you want to get monetized only doing shorts, it's 10 million views within 3 months, which is a lot. But if you're going to be pushing shorts, that's what it is. But you still need your 1,000 subscribers.
Okay.
So in other words, how are you going to get subscribers? Subscribers, you're going to have to go find subscribers by visiting other people's channels. They get to know you. They go and watch your videos. Shorts are another way. And then also you're going to need hours, watch hours, 4,000 watch hours. If you don't get the 4,000 watch hours, you're going to need to do live streams, because
And monetization is another topic. And I hate to press right here.
I know.
My apologies.
No, I know.
Monetization, we could talk for another 2 hours, and we probably will, but that's going to be another session. This
is a preview, guys.
Yeah, that's a preview. So I hope you took notes, and we'll come back for the monetization and the shorts, because that's some fascinating stuff that we'll talk about there as well. Any other questions about, any other comments about?
Is there a bet going on? I don't know.
There is a bet. If I go 2 hours, then either I have to buy dinner or I shave an eyebrow or two. So I tell you what, folks,
I
in
go
about
for
5
dinner at
minutes,
this
this broadcast is ending anyway. So
Dinner would be good.
any other comments, any other concerns? My isopods, anybody? Questions, concerns?
I just personally do want to say, and this is where I say that I love this and that, specifically for the shorts, and even the talk on monetization, because I say I'm very slow, hesitant, and getting the kick in the butt from you guys, and the information is what I need to hear. I talked to you, Wally, a lot about the fact that I don't have a big social circle, so I need these kicks in the butt where I can get them.
I don't do social media, and I got monetized. So it is possible. You just have to. It's hard. It work. You got.
It is work. It is work, but it's worth. I think it's worth it if you have those goals in mind. And Steve, you have your goals first, and then it's just a matter of working on those. Angie mentioned, Steve, I think your banner should be a picture of an isopod or nature picture. I would agree with that. That's a great idea.
Your name. I don't know if you want. I would have rather put the capital letters MI, and then separate, and then put the I for the isopods, because it's like kind of like what like I asked, what is what does it mean? What is the M? I know it says isopods, but what's the M for?
Which it's one of those things where it's obvious to me, but that doesn't mean it's obvious to everybody else.
That's the thing.
But I've never heard. Oh, you guys are right. Like I've never heard anyone say it right.
No,
like,
I know.
I don't think ever.
The thing is, I'll tell you how it is. I mean, I'm not gonna, as they say, you're either gonna have to, if you're thin skin, you're not gonna make it on YouTube, because
Was
you
that-
My
know,
drill instructors would cry if I was thin-skinned.
you know, but I mean, you know, but some
You-
people like, oh, I don't want to hear this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember that was probably the very first thing that came out of my mouth when we first started session 1? If you're going to do this, if we're all going to do this, then you're going to be thick-skinned and stick around
And thank you, Angie.
and take it and either use it or not use it. It's up to you, but at least we're going to kind of put ideas out there. And that's what I like best. I don't like not hearing, here's how you can improve, even if it's something that I
Yes.
think, yeah, that might not work for me. I want to hear it
Yeah.
so that I can make that judgment. So next session, we're probably going to get into another kind of I consider these kind of high levels. You have to, you know, walk before you run. And we talked about content, we talked about titles, we talked about descriptions, and we're going to take it the next step. I think what we'll probably talk about is thumbnails. Thumbnails are, you know, real near and dear to my heart because I think thumbnails make or break people watching your video the first time. It doesn't bring people back, but getting that click, I think thumbnails are the most important thing. So next session, we'll talk about thumbnails.
I never thought about it that way, that even like your thumbnail doesn't have to consistently draw on every single person, but like you're saying, you just get them in the door once, and like we say, you're passionate, you sell them on yourself. It's just sometimes getting, I
Yes.
never thought about it like that.
Yes.
That's the magazine. You know, I'm walking by and I see a big fish on the cover of Field and Stream. Oh, wow, look at that smallmouth. I want to read how they caught that smallmouth. So I'm huge into creating value with your thumbnail so you get that 0.3 seconds of attention from somebody. Now, after that, then you get another 3 attention, 0.3, because they're going to maybe look at the title and then maybe they're going to click. So it's all about eliminating them just swiping left or right or down or whatever. So we're going to talk about that next session. Nanette's empty here, it sounds like. She's been drinking all night, folks, and all day. So I don't want to get her mad. Steve, thank you very much
I'm out of water,
for
too.
letting us just crucify you with our comments. Moon, as always, huge value in your ideas and your comments as well. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Go easy.